what's interesting about the whole Gal and Rachel drama has a lot more to do with what Rachel recently did against Gal Gadot. Again, this is a whole tug-of-war situation happening between both Rachel and Gal. This has been going on for months and months. Now, with the two, of course, with Snow White and the overall backlash still growing due to the Rachel Zegler backlash, along with the Rachel and Gal Gadot drama happening behind the scenes and in the public, one crucial development going on now involves more to do with Rachel Zegler once again attacking Gal in the worst way yet in the midst of the box office plummeting for Disney. A major
Welcome back to Celebrity. It's Olivia here. Cameras. We're talking about Snow White, Disney's once prized live-action reboot, now sitting at a pitiful $169 million worldwide. And that number, it's not just low. It's catastrophic when you realize Disney spent well over $300 million to make and market this thing. The press tour, the global travel, the bloated budget, it all added up to a disaster no one could stop. But the box office isn't the only thing on fire. Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot are at war. What started as quiet tension has now exploded into full-blown, behind-the-scenes hostility. Before we peel back the layers of this wild unraveling, make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe. If you love deep dives with no fluff, just facts, receipts, and a sprinkle of chaos, you're in the right place. And trust me, you won't believe how this one plays out. And the final straw? A now-canceled Disney press event that was meant to bring the two stars together for a staged photo op at Disneyland and Disney World. The goal? Save face, fake unity, smile for the trades. But Rachel refused. To Gal's face, she reportedly said, "I'm not pretending we're on good terms. I want nothing to do with your politics." And just like that, the whole thing collapsed. Disney executives tried to play peacemakers. They begged the two actresses to bury the hatchet for the sake of optics. But what they got instead were heated arguments, staff walkouts, and corporate embarrassment so severe, Bob Iger himself stepped in and shut the entire press plan down. So here's where it gets really messy. This wasn't just a personality clash. This was a political landmine, and Rachel Zegler made sure the world knew she wanted nothing to do with it. The moment Gal Gadot's name was brought up in pre-event planning, Rachel allegedly flipped. According to internal leaks, she told Disney reps, "I'm not aligning myself with someone who openly supports war." That's in reference to Gal's controversial pro-Israel social media posts, which reignited backlash during the height of global tension. Rachel didn't just disagree, she made it personal. She refused to appear with Gal, refused to be on the same float, refused to fake the fairy tale friendship Disney desperately needed. And behind the scenes, it caused absolute chaos. Publicists panicked, event planners scrambled. One insider claimed the Disneyland PR team was in tears trying to rewrite a media rollout that was falling apart by the hour. But here's the kicker. Gal had no idea Rachel felt this strongly until it exploded in front of a full production team.
Updates surrounding this situation now involves how Rachel Zegler recently acted in a very erratic way toward Disney executives and producers that involved, of course, cast members like Andrew Burnap and Gal Gadot, while they were all making plans to do a meet and greet at both Walt Disney World and Disneyland, where both Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler were instructed by the Disney company to do this on camera as part of positive press for the trades. Now, this was described to be the final step for the Snow White press tour, in which Zegler decided to get very defensive, where she informed Gal Gadot personally that she doesn't want to pretend that they are on good terms with someone that supports Israel, and how Zegler claimed that Gal got way too political throughout the press tour for Snow White. This just happened in the middle of a situation where Disney execs and producers tried to mend the two actresses and set their differences aside.
Allegedly, Rachel confronted her during rehearsal week, accusing Gal of using her Disney role to launder a political image. Gal, blindsided, defended herself, saying, "I'm here to play the queen, not be one." Too late. The damage was done. And Disney? They were watching millions of dollars in damage control evaporate into smoke. Because now, what was supposed to be a feel-good comeback story for Snow White had turned into a viral mess. Headlines about Zegler versus Gadot, whispers of ideological warfare, and a press tour completely nuked before it even began. And in the middle of it all, a film no one wants to see. This wasn't just a PR headache. This was a corporate identity crisis. And the fallout has Disney scrambling to save what's left of its legacy. After the Snow White disaster hit the headlines and the Zegler-Gadot feud leaked into the press, Bob Iger reportedly lost it. Insiders say he demanded an immediate review of every project in the remake pipeline, including Hercules, Pocahontas, and Tangled. Some were outright canceled on the spot. Why? Because Zegler's drama didn't just tank a movie. It exposed a much bigger problem. Disney forgot its audience. For years, the studio leaned hard into ideological branding, messaging first movies, diversity without depth, activism over artistry. And Snow White? It became the poster child of everything fans say they're tired of. Rewriting classics, turning charming tales into lectures, and letting stars hijack the message for their own personal politics. And when that approach collided with $130 million in losses and 2 lead actresses at war, heads rolled. According to internal reports, Zegler is now blacklisted from future Disney productions. Not officially, of course, but unofficially, no one wants the risk. She's become what executives are calling PR kryptonite. Her comments about the original Snow White being outdated and creepy weren't edgy. They were career suicide.
Now, moving onwards, to make matters worse for the Disney company is that Gal reportedly is planning to go on podcasts and radio shows to expose the issues with Rachel Zegler exclusively once Snow White is officially out of theaters and over and done with. Gal is planning to drop some major bombshells by this summer that will shake the entire film industry, and just how bad the relationship between the 2 actresses were on set during and throughout all 3 rounds of reshoots that were done from 2023 to 2024. Zegler, get this, is also planning to do the same exact thing toward Gal Gadot out of spite. So it really is kind of like high school drama at this point when it comes to the set of Snow White, and that's also another thing that's very off-putting. We know that a lot of major Hollywood trades talked about the drama between both Rachel and Gal.
Marketing teams are furious. Licensing divisions are livid. Zegler's version of Snow White was supposed to launch an entire franchise, theme park tie-ins, merch, streaming spin-offs. Now, all of that is on pause, permanently. Gal Gadot, meanwhile, is safe, for now. Her star power still holds in certain circles, and Disney won't burn a Wonder Woman over bad optics. But make no mistake, she's not untouched. There are no sequels, no spin-offs, no future plans involving the evil queen. And the scariest part? This isn't over. The legal department is watching the public reaction like a hawk. If the backlash keeps building, if ticket sales stay dead, and if Gal and Rachel's feud continues to dominate headlines, Disney might not just bury Snow White.
They might bury the entire live-action strategy. Phase 4? That's where the fans come in, and how this isn't just about 2 stars, but a culture war Disney never wanted to admit they were losing. What happens when a studio ignores its audience long enough? They fight back, loudly, relentlessly, and publicly. After Rachel Zegler mocked the original Snow White as weird and creepy, fans didn't just roll their eyes. They declared war. YouTube exploded with takedowns. TikTok flooded with meme edits clowning Rachel's interview. Comment sections turned savage, with viewers demanding the film be scrapped altogether. And Disney? For once, they couldn't spin the story. See, this wasn't just about casting. This wasn't about race. This was about disrespect. The remake took a 1937 classic, arguably the most iconic animated film in history, and treated it like a punchline. The magic was gone. The heart was missing. The fans who grew up loving Snow White didn't see a brave new vision. They saw a studio that thought it knew better. And when Disney tried to course correct, it was already too late.
With Disney's Snow White still stagnant and sitting at $169 million worldwide and really just slowing down at this point because of a Minecraft movie, we know that those out there like Bob Iger, the Disney CEO, and the many executives are in pure panic mode about this movie because they are losing well over $300 million at this point based on how much they poured into the budget of this thing, the marketing expenses, the press tour, the traveling expenses for Rachel Zegler singing overseas. There's a lot of things that went into this movie that really didn't need to be done, quite frankly.
Fans weren't buying it, literally. Advanced ticket sales stalled. Interest in the merch was non-existent. Even die-hard Disney adults started turning on the brand. Longtime supporters, former cast members, and even some animators quietly voiced their frustrations behind the scenes. Why? Because it's not just one bad movie, it's been years of this. Live-action flops, poorly written sequels, content first, story last filmmaking, and Snow White became the tipping point. The moment audiences collectively said, no more. And Rachel? She became the symbol, the easy target. The face of what happens when you cast someone who doesn't respect the role, and then let her control the narrative. Now she's alienated Disney. She's alienated her co-star. And worst of all, she's alienated the fans. And for a studio built entirely on audience loyalty, that's a fatal blow. this was supposed to be the one. The film that reimagined Disney's origin story, the reboot that would remind the world where the magic began. Instead, Snow White is going down in history as the moment the fairy tale died. And now, no one knows what happens next. The live-action Snow White has become so toxic, even internally, that some Disney execs are seriously considering shelving the entire release altogether. Not delaying, not reworking, scrapping, because right now, the brand damage outweighs whatever box office revenue they might claw back from loyal families or curious hate watchers. Internally, the numbers are grim. Projections say Snow White might not even break $100 million domestic. And with a bloated production and marketing budget, that means a loss north of $150 million if they release it. So here's the wild part. There's now talk, real talk, about sending the movie straight to Disney Plus, skipping theaters entirely. That would be a move so drastic, it'd send shockwaves across Hollywood. $1 billion IP, a legacy remake dumped to streaming. But that's how deep this disaster goes. And what about Rachel Zegler? Her future in the Disney universe is non-existent. Behind the scenes, she's been quietly uninvited from future press events. Her name is being stripped from promotional materials. Some international territories are even planning to use alternate marketing, removing her face from posters in key regions. That's not just damage control, that's erasure. As for Gal Gadot, she's moving on, but the shadow of this fiasco will trail her too. And Disney? They're now reevaluating every single remake in development. Tangled, The Princess and the Frog, Hercules, all suddenly on the chopping block. Because Snow White didn't just flop, it fractured trust. This wasn't just a box office miss, it was a cultural turning point. The moment fans, critics, and even insiders agreed, the fairy tales aren't working anymore. Not like this. So now the final question isn't about plot or casting or trailers. It's about legacy. Can Disney rebuild the trust? Can they remember how to tell stories without politics, press drama, or PR fakery? Or is this the moment the mouse lost the magic for good?